Hi, welcome to the Honey and Harry Show. I'm Honey.
And I'm Harry.
And today we're going to be talking about jury duty and the boys of summer. So,
yeah, we got some weird stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we just...
we must be digging up topics to try to talk about.
And I'm going to talk about my hair right now.
Yeah, please do that.
So let me talk about my hair.
What's with the highlights there?
You know, I am a crazy person. My hairdresser today was like, you want to put some pink in your hair again? Because I always put pink in my hair every once in a while. And I was like, yeah, just do whatever you want. You know, I didn't have like a plan. I didn't tell her where to go, what to do. But yeah, she put some pink in my hair. But it washes out. Like probably by Wednesday, it'll be gone. But I just want to do something different.
Well, you have some beach highlights.
I kind of wanted to feel, and that's why I wore this sparkle shirt tonight, because when I was trying on clothes, pink hair at 52.
You need something to go with it.
Yeah, you have to wear something that's more like sparkle, like cool. Like right. I had this real pretty blue shirt I was gonna wear, and I just looked like an idiot. So.
No, you dropped 20 years off with that blouse and that hair.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I like a rock star.
Yeah. So, what happened is it got something in the mail this week, and maybe a whole bunch of you guys got the same thing. We got a letter from the registrar of voters in our parish, and I'm imagining that some people in other parishes got those as well. I think Honey got one too.
Yeah, I got one.
And it's a new voter information card. Okay, so this is it's what you could use to vote with. It tells you where you're going to be voting at and so forth. Mine says what school I have to go cast my vote. And I was wondering, well, why were we getting these cards in the mail? And then I realized that in our state, Louisiana, they just reapportioned all the voting districts and congressional districts in the state. So therefore, some of us have actually switched from one district to another. Now, we're in Baton Rouge, so there's this giant swath of French bread loaf through the center of the state that now includes Baton Rouge. So that's what the card was all about. And so it reminds me, too, though, that we got important elections coming up in the fall as well. So, yeah. Honey, are you a registered voter?
I am now.
You are now?
I am now.
You want to explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so for years, I just didn't vote. I was young. I didn't care. I shouldn't. That sounds so ignorant and stupid to say something like that, because as I've gotten older, I understand how important your vote is, and you should always vote, even as a young person. But the main reason I did not vote was because I did not want jury duty. I still to this day I don't want to be on. Well, first of all, I hear you just do a lot of sitting around, and I don't like sitting around. And then the other thing is, like, I don't want to be in charge of, like, putting somebody in jail or letting somebody out. That's, like, I don't want to be in charge of that. Like, it kind of freaks me out. Like, yeah. What if, I put somebody in jail that doesn't deserve to be in jail, or vice versa, let somebody out that doesn't deserve to be out. So I just, even though you hear it and all the things, as we know, everybody's a liar. And... Especially in that thing, like, somebody kills somebody, they're going to say they didn't, so it's just like...
There could be some...
No, I mean, it is.
Going on, that's possible,
and the attorneys, they lie too, I guess.
Well, everybody knows the famous cliche, and I have at least one good friend who's a lawyer, so he's not like this at all, but the joke used to be, how do you know when a lawyer is lying?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or his lips moving.
Oh. So, see, it's that kind of stuff. So that was my main thing. I didn't want the jury duty, so I just didn't vote. Right. And then as I got older, I was like, with some of my friends were talking to me like, you really need to vote. And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. And then I did get jury duty. I was like, doggone. I was like, God, knew this could happen. I was like, I'm not even going to do this anymore. Yeah. And I was like, fine, I'm going to go, whatever. And then I called in the morning, and I didn't have to go. So I was like, oh, thank God.
Right.
So
right.
You've had to serve.
Yeah. sometime back, many years ago, I think if you were a registered voter, that was the way that they got their list of people to call for jury duty.
Yeah.
But the state has a little more generous way of doing it now, that they leave it up to the various judicial districts and the judges there and the people in those districts, but they also use the driver's license now.
Oh.
So if you're driving a car and you
Now-
have a Louisiana license, then
Well, now-
so you really
Now I'm glad I'm voting now.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And I think also if you have a state identification card, so in other words, you can get a photo ID from the state, even if you don't intend to drive with it, but that can also be used. But it depends on the parish. So, for instance, I think Jefferson Parish, where we grew up, all three of those things are possibilities. So if you're on any of those lists at all, then in Jefferson Parish you could get called. So
Yeah.
So in my experience, I got called for. Well, there's two ordinary kinds of juries you might be called to. One of them is the judicial district. So I think we're the 19th judicial district in Baton Rouge or something like that. So and there are 42 of these things in the state, and they usually line up with the parishes, but not 100%. So East Baton Rouge has a 19th judicial court. So they would send out these, I was on the voter list, so obviously, I had a chance to be on it. So they would send us a letter and say, just like you got, which says, you've been called up for jury duty 6 weeks from now or something
Yeah.
like that, whatever it is, And you could, I guess if you had a really bad hardship case, you could beg off of the jury duty.
Yes.
But what I'm told, at least I remember hearing this, is that you're simply going to put yourself onto a later date. So it's not like I have a hardship, I'm never going to ever be
Absolutely.
serving. It's like I have a hardship, okay, we'll be calling you back in 6 months or something like that.
But I do want to say something. So Duty got it. He did. He got served, and I didn't know this, but certain employers, they don't pay.
Right.
There are people,
Yeah. Right.
if they have jury duty, which is pretty crappy.
It's difficult, especially, and that's kind of a hardship thing that
That's
could
a
happen.
hardship.
Yeah.
So he had to call the judge's secretary, because his place of business
Right.
was not going to pay
Right.
him
Right.
if he, if he went, and he's the
Right.
only, and his baby was a preemie, so his wife had to stay home. So he was the only one
Breadwinner, yeah.
working.
Right.
So if he's not working, he's not getting paid.
That's right.
So that's where a hardship comes
Oh,
in.
that's
and
at least
that's-
one of them, yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
why I would have never called and said, "Oh, I can't," because I did not, I wasn't a stay-at-home mom anymore. I didn't.
Right.
I had no hardship. So I mean, you know what I mean? Like, some people probably make up stuff.
And they give you a very small amount of money, and it's basically enough to pay for,
Your parking?
parking. Well, sometimes they give you parking, but pay to, for lunch maybe. I mean, it doesn't pay for much. Okay?
No, it doesn't pay for a whole lot.
So if your employer is not going to keep your salary whole, that's going to be a real hardship.
Yes.
I worked for a big, company back in the day when I first got called, and so it wasn't a problem. They were going to pay,
yeah.
and they said this is part of the job. You go out
Absolutely.
and you do that. So I got called up during my first 10 or 15 years being a registered voter. I got called up twice, and I had the same experience you had. Well, not exactly, but close. I got called up, and I went in the first day, and oh man, you just sit around the whole day, okay, and waiting to see if you're going to get called. And then they'll send you home at some point in time, and they would say, okay, call this number in the morning, and we'll have a message, and it'll tell you whether you need to show up or something like that. So the first two times that I got called, I don't think I went past day 2 having to show up. So it's my guess is that they are calling as many people as they might need for all the trials that could take place that week.
Oh, wow.
But what happens with a trial? Do all the trials take place? No.
No, they get canceled sometimes.
They get canceled because of plea bargaining.
Yeah.
That's a really big deal,
Yeah.
So they don't really want to have a jury trial if they could get
it's expensive.
it's very
it's a waste
expensive.
of money and all that. Yeah.
So those first two times I didn't do anything. But the third time, and it was about a decade ago or so, like that. I got called up, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm a engineer and all this kind of stuff, and they don't want people who really, are going to closely examine whatever they're saying on the jury.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure I'm not going to get seated again. I'm sure it's not going to happen. So, but I got seated. Okay, and at least I got called up to go to the judges' chambers where they interviewed the candidates for the jury, and they went around asking us questions. And that was interesting. I don't have a great memory of all of that, but I know there was one gentleman who, they would be asking you, could you convict in this case if the penalty was whatever,
So they interview you kind of.
Yeah, well, it's a very short interview.
Yeah.
They're going to ask, both the prosecution and defense get to ask you a question or two. And then there was one guy where he just said, well, I can't possibly ever vote for guilty for somebody for something, And it's like, what's that about, But anyway, he had a...
Well, then maybe they want him.
Well,
Somebody's going to want him.
I think he turned out to be somebody that neither the prosecution nor the defense thought they could trust and have any idea. So
okay.
He didn't end up serving.
Okay.
So anyway, so the interesting part about this case was it was a second-degree murder case.
Oh my
So it
gosh.
was a big deal. I don't know what the other ones might have been when I went, but
And that's the other thing.
That's a big deal.
Do you want the scary person to see you? I don't.
Yeah. So here I am. Okay, I'm getting in the elevator to go up there, and I'm saying, this is getting too serious. This might be real,
Yeah.
So anyway, I ended up being non-objectionable to the both the defense and the prosecution, and was chosen for the jury. And we were impaneled for an entire week, and the case was settled at the end of the week, and we all voted to a person to convict. And
wow.
the penalty for that is what? It's life imprisonment. So that's kind of a little bit intimidating. But I would suggest to people that being part of the justice process in this country is a really it's kind of a privilege. It's also something that
civic duty,
an obligation, a duty that we can
obligation.
do. But it's something that's really educational, and I learned an awful lot in that. So an interesting anecdote about the trial was that. So we're asking each other when we're in the jury room for the first time we get together, what do you do? What do you do? We just trying to find out what everybody does. And it turns out that the jury is largely composed of really highly educated people.
Wow.
Which is unusual most of the time that the defense would go for something like that, or the prosecution, I guess. I don't know. But it turns out they were going to present some complicated evidence, and they wanted a jury who wouldn't be ticked off that they had to sit there and listen to all this complicated evidence.
I would have been pissed.
Yeah, a lot of people would have zoned out, and then
that's what I would worry about. Me getting on there and just being like, "Oh my God, how long do I have to sit here?"
Right.
Yeah.
But I tell you, it was a great experience. Although I think I was the last person to actually say guilty in the room. I think I was.
What
the
did he
last
do?
one.
Can you say what they did?
Well, it was murder. It was second-degree murder.
He just murdered a random person.
No, he killed his stepbrother. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it was an interesting case.
People are crazy.
Killed a family member. So anyway, so that was a real different experience. And I will add this though, that it touched me enough that periodically, when I'm reminded by the Spirit, I pray for the gentleman because he's still in prison.
That's so good. Because here's the thing.
So who knows what his life is like? So. You
want him to like say he's sorry and accept God. You don't want him to die like that. You want him. God wants him in heaven too.
Right.
That's just the way it goes. Who knows what happened to him to get him to that point to make him a crazy person.
Yeah, there's this phrase that we use, our Christians use, is there but for the grace of God go I. Which means that if we weren't so graced, we might have fallen into bad things, done something stupid.
Well,
most domestic or family things and stuff like that are highly emotionally charged things, and people are not thinking. They're.
Well, no, and then if you grow up and you go into a bad situation, it's just so sad, and I do feel sorry for those people that they just sometimes you're born without even having a chance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or certainly behind the 8 ball. Really.
Yeah, really.
Situation.
It's hard. It's so hard. So you do want them to find God and, be forgiven.
So how would you feel if you were called up and asked to serve now, these days?
Of course, I would probably be, stomping my feet, having a fit. Everybody knows me, I would. But I would do it. I have to. I mean, it's just what you do. That's what's part of being part of this great country. You're supposed to, it's your civic duty. You're supposed to do that. And I would try to do it to the best of my ability and be fair. And, I'm very highly emotional. If somebody killed somebody, I'd probably have to I'd be so upset, So, anyway, Stormy made a comment. You like my hair, Stormy?
Oh, yeah, we got to show that, huh?
Do you really? Or are you just being nice? No,
no, yeah. So,
but no, I would. I mean, I don't know. It's just a hard thing. It's hard for people to, and you hate to see it. You just hate to see it. And sometimes, it's like you live and you don't want to know all those things that happen in the world. And that's kind of like the way I deal with things. I don't want to know about all those horrible things because it's so upsetting.
Well, it's still, the odds are still in your favor that you wouldn't either get called or have to serve. I think I read some numbers recently that there are about 30 million summonses sent out to people like you and I saying you're being called for jury. In the United States, about 30 million a year that gets sent out. Only 8 million people actually show up for one reason or another. Some people just never show up.
Wow, they don't show up. I'd be scared I'd go to, get in trouble.
They could put a bench warrant out on you if they want,
I don't want that. I'm too scared of that.
So about 8 million people show up. And of the 8 million people that show up, only 1.5 million actually end up serving. So I think that's less than 20%,
Yeah,
That I found was my biggest dissatisfaction until I actually served. My biggest dissatisfaction was, you're going to go sit there. It's like a waste of people's time, a waste of people's money. Some people, are really going to be messed up by it economically.
Yeah.
And, but I'd heard this story about maybe a decade ago. It was about New Orleans. New Orleans has got issues, but one thing I heard, I don't know whether it's still true or whether I got accurate data, was that they had reformed their jury calling process so that you had a much higher chance of actually serving on a jury, which would make people feel a whole lot better if they got called and then get their time wasted, Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's really true, if that really worked out.
That's the thing. You don't want to waste your time. But, look, it's what you, living here, that's what you get. I mean, thank God we have a jury.
Now, let's see about this one right here.
Stormy. Well, I wouldn't.
Okay, what we got there?
What did she say?
I'm trying to get Margaret's on.
Oh,
I need to
Mom's.
add that to the... Okay. All right. I got called up once and then watched the movie, had some lunch, and went back. Well, and that was good for you to mention, Margaret, because the third time when I ended up actually serving, there was a movie streaming in the area, and it was on a bunch of TVs. And I guess if you got there early enough, you saw the movie. But if you got called up, you didn't see the rest of the movie.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And what we got here, let me see if I can get this fixed up here. I don't want to do that. I want to just get rid of that. And then I want to
Stormy.
do what? Take this off here. And then I want to put Stormy on the thing. Let's see if I can get her up there.
Aunt Patricia?
Oh, that's Patricia. Yeah, right. I'm going to get Stormy up there. Half of all the old people love to serve. Good point about the old people, because, some of us, we don't have anything to do, okay? So, not me, but some of us, would like the engagement of being involved in that, right?
No, absolutely.
Yeah, no.
And this, Stormy said, what'd she say? Well, I wouldn't do it, but I love it on you.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like when we were kids.
Yeah.
I always did the stuff. And she said, I've been called a few times.
But never got the chance to serve. That's most
Stormy
people.
should serve. Like even when we were young, she was always reading books like The Firm, and then she has the big job.
She had a legal mind.
Yeah, and she's in the legal. I forget what she does, but I don't know what she does.
Yeah.
But anyways, she's does something and all that. So
Yeah. Interesting thing, of course, if the defense or the prosecution gets the answer to a question and it sounds like you're going to compromise the case or something like that, then they can, of course.
what do you like? Just some conflict.
Yeah, yeah. You know, like, oh, that's my brother-in-law you're trying to put in jail, you know, or something like that.
Oh my goodness, Aunt Patricia, they used to call me.
Aunt Patricia says they used to call you every 2 years. In fact, that is
Really?
that's the shortest they can call you back to. So they must have loved you, Patricia, because they can't call you back every year, but they can call you every other year. So
Oh, wow.
That's interesting too.
Yeah, that is.
So I want to tell you about the other jury I served on, which is fewer people get to do this, and it's more intriguing, I think. And to some people, they would find it very disruptive. But I served on a federal grand jury for a year.
What?
Yeah. So I was got another one of those letters in the mail, you
How
know.
old were you when all that?
I looked at it, and it was like, okay, this is the whatever district we're in. Got called up for the federal grand jury, and of course, it's something you think is going to be something like the regular judicial district, but when you get there, there are only about 20 people. There's not a room of 300 people sitting there waiting to get. So they're impaneling the jury, and I think they're going to put like 16 people in the grand jury, but they'll always have at least 12 there or something like that. And so they're interviewing people. They're interviewing me and all the people in there. And when it comes to the federal grand jury, getting off of it, not serving, is next to impossible.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. We had, of the 20 people there was only one person that was able to be excused, and it was because they were connected to the case in some way.
Oh,
Yeah.
so here's the thing. Like, do you get to go home?
Oh, yeah.
Does your job pay you for a year? I mean, were you there full time?
What you do, no. What you do is you're impaneled for a year. Mm-hmm. So that's the longest you can be part of that jury is for a year.
Okay.
And then what they do is they call you up every month or 5 weeks or something like that, and for a day, and you just come in for that day, and they may let you go at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock if they're finished with witnesses or whatever, you know. I don't.
What was that about?
Funny you asked that question.
What is that about?
Okay, that's a good question. Here's the deal. If you go read the federal guidelines for federal grand jury jurors, you will find that the jurors can never share anything at all about what went on in the grand jury room ever.
Ever.
To anyone, ever. That includes friends, neighbors, and spouses.
What?
Yeah, right?
Then I would be in jail.
Well, you know, that's what the law says. And
But how can you not tell your significant other at least? Like, oh my God, okay, you come home and you have to talk to somebody.
Good question. But you can ask my lovely wife if I've ever told her anything about it.
No, I know. No, you don't. I know.
Well, and do I think that some people may have told people?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's possible.
I mean, how can they control it?
Well, they can't control it, but if they find out that you have spoken out of court, then they can bring you up on charges.
See, I don't even want to get involved with all this. You see?
Well, that's the federal grand jury, so it's different from the.
I don't even know what that is. The federal grand jury.
Well,
it's like
there are certain crimes that will be like interstate crimes, that reach the federal jurisdiction, as opposed to just a state or a local thing. So it has to be something rather big. So it could be like a conspiracy to mismanage interstate commerce, or
basically stealing money from the government.
There's a lot of I guess fraud and other kinds of things that could be involved in that. I don't know. Or let's say you were involved with handling government money or something like that, federal money or something like that.
See, and that's what makes me mad about the government. I'm just going to say it. And it's like you can kill somebody, you can, do horrible things to children, all this stuff, and you just get a little tap. But like you don't pay your damn taxes, and it's like, oh, you're going to jail for like 10 years and you got to get kicked out the country. And like, are you kidding me?
I remember reading a long time ago, it was like when the internet first started or something like that, and there was a whole bunch of advertisements of people who said, you know, you really don't have to pay federal income tax.
Oh, yes, you do. Well, we make sure we get it done, because I guess the last thing I want is somebody buzzing around my door.
But there was a whole bunch of, and there were some people who were selling this theory who exercised it and then went to federal prison, because they basically.
Yeah, but that makes no sense.
Yeah,
that makes no sense, because, like, again, somebody can be, you know, the drug cartel people. All these people do all these horrendous things. I mean, they get away with so much, and I'm not going to say names because we all know who's gotten away with so much. Bad people. But anyways, if you don't pay your taxes, like you know, on the Real Housewives, Teresa didn't pay her taxes.
Is that right? Oh my gosh!
And then her husband got like deported, and like she got like
whoa.
Yeah, and then like she had to go to prison too, and I'm like, they're good people. They just forgot. I don't know what.
Is this New Jersey or Atlanta?
This Jersey.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Jersey. That explains it.
Yeah, but I was like, are you kidding? And I'm like, you know, but like then some, and then you see this other stuff on TV, and it's like, oh my God, that person should have really gone to jail for a long time.
Right.
Getting been deported.
Yeah, the justice system's not perfect. One thing about the taxes, though, is they have a record. and they can investigate you. And
I understand. Pay your taxes and all that.
Taxes,
and they made a mistake and whatever. I don't know how that happened, but I mean.
Yeah. Or maybe it was fabricated for the purposes of reality TV.
No, I just think it was an accident. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to him. I don't care. I don't know. But I'm just saying, I just thought the punishment was a little extreme. Just make them pay it back.
Yeah. So, yeah, you know, I'm like you, though. It's like there's Margaret handles the finances in the house except for income tax. That's my job, okay? And so once a year, I get, you know, traumatized because I gotta go do that.
Oh, I hate that.
It's never as hard as I imagined it to be. And, you know, but I have made some mistakes over the years and had to, you know, file an amended return or get an agent to talk to the IRS because they had the wrong numbers and they were telling me that I owed them $20,000 in back taxes, and I'm going like, no, that's not right.
Yeah.
You know, so it is scary, you know. But
it is scary, and that's like my husband. It's like all the time tax season comes around, he's in a bad mood. You know?
Well,
and I mean,
I usually wait till as long as I can, and then I just grit my teeth, come in here, spend 2.5 hours on the computer, and then it's done. You know.
Yeah, it's done. Just get it over with.
Yeah,
I know. It's not fun.
So the grand jury thing was very interesting. Of course, my employer made up for the income problem with the whole thing, and you know, and they thanked us for serving, and we didn't necessarily know anything about what happened to any case unless we read about it ourselves at some point in time, and even if you read about it, you can't go talking about, I was on that jury, you know.
Yeah, I know. Look, I get anxiety just going downtown just because there's too many
buildings.
There's too many law offices. There's there's judges down there. Not that I do anything wrong. I just feel like I'm gonna walk wrong or something.
Well, let me tell you about one downtown experience. I was on 9th Street and I went through a green light, and then about 13 and a half feet past that green light's another traffic light, and I went straight through the red light. But conveniently, there was an officer right behind me who pulled me over and gave me a ticket. Oh my gosh!
And that I know.
So downtown has me traumatized.
It does. It makes me nervous with all that. Like I couldn't work in that environment.
Yeah.
I just have a stomach ache every day because it just seems like everything's so hard.
Right. But I guess both of us feel at this point in time that if we got called, you know, it would be okay.
Yeah.
And Patricia pointed up about the 2-year thing, but I think once you reach the age of 70, you no longer are going to be automatically called up if you would like to decline. So you can fill out something and say, you know, I'm above 70. I'm not going to serve anymore. But of course, as was mentioned earlier, a lot of the older people just love to have something interesting to go do. You know.
Yeah.
So Stormy says, and I agree with her. I think the employers should definitely pay the people that serve.
Absolutely.
Then again, you might have some little business that's really marginal. So it can be difficult both ways, I'm sure.
It can be on both sides.
But if
I'm
you
sure it is.
work for somebody, of any consequence, you should be able to have them compensate you. At least, I think one of the rules used to be for some employers that they would pay the difference between whatever the court paid you and what your salary was. So they didn't make up your salary. They didn't give you your whole salary. They made your salary whole.
Oh, wow.
Which was probably fine with people because that way they got paid.
Yeah.
So forth and so on. So anyway.
And then like I know like a lot of the little stay-at-home moms, like they can't do it. Because they can't.
And they would be able to.
They would be able to definitely.
And I don't know what would happen if they got called for grand jury duty. That would be really intriguing.
Because when you have children, that's like you're taking care of them full time. I don't know how you would do that.
I don't know how you do it either.
No, or even just a mom in general, or like if you're a teacher even. So these, I stuff at school and it's so hard. These teachers, like if they're gone for one day, it's a lot.
The classroom's chaos.
Well, no, and the kids really need to learn, like it's good to have them there. So.
But they can always call you as a substitute.
That's true. They do.
And they do. So we had another topic to talk about, and that was what I called the little boys of summer. Okay, so most of you out there probably remember the Don Henley tune, Boys of Summer. And, if you go look up what does that mean, you might find somebody say, well, it's about summer romances and, the girls met the boys during the summer and the boys of summer are gone and so forth. But that's not the origin of the phrase. That song came out in 1984, and the origin of the phrase is from a book written in 1972 about baseball. So it's called Boys of Summer.
Wow. And we just had a lot of baseball, so...
So what do we have to talk about with that?
So we were in Broussard this weekend, and Carter had his first World Series, and... I mean, they didn't do too well at the beginning. So
it was scary at the beginning.
Yeah, it was scary at the beginning. They didn't do too well. And then they came back on Sunday with a rain delay and won 3, 4, I think 5 games. 5 games. They won, and they won it all. And Carter had bronchitis. He was sick, poor baby. And that he won MVP player, I get the most valuable player of the tournament. That's what it was, of the tournament. Right. He did that. So I'm so proud and I'm proud of every little boy on that team.
Right.
Every single one. I mean, his little best friend, Jack's on the little team with it. All those little boys. They're just, all the parents, they're great kids. And it's just so fun to go out there and, watch all the kids are just having so much fun. And you're making such good memories. And
they'll never forget that.
They will look, Duty
and they got a ring that's about this big.
Their rings, now they don't, when my son was little, they would get trophies. So I have all of Duty's trophies. I have 1 million trophies from the Broncos and from when he played tournament ball and all that. And they're all up in the attic wrapped in paper and bubble wrap, Because I don't want to throw them away. Nope. But so the rings are kind of better. Because they're just,
it takes up less space.
It does take up, and they're so, those trophies get so dusty.
Well, and that's what the major leaguers get these big rings when they win things.
I know Carter has them on his little necklace that he does, and he wears his rings on his necklace. But it's so good for them to do these things because. Most of the kids, they may not even play in high school. Yeah, they may not even play in college.
That's what I like so much about it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not like they went out and recruited and stacked the team with the best players they could find in the entire nation and put it together. These are kids that know each other, get along with each other. Many of them go to school together. Yes. And they just came together at the right time.
They did. And they just pulled together and they were having fun. And the other little teams were having fun. Yes. So it's good to see. And it's a great memory. I mean, my son... to this day, talks about his
baseball memories.
All his all the time.
And he made some permanent friends from that.
Oh my gosh, still to this day. I'm still trying to get, if you're listening, Robbie Podorsky, I want you on this show. So he's yes, we want you. But anyways, that was one of Duty's good friends growing up. And we went to his wedding and everything. And now he's took over. I think he took over. He's I don't know. He's doing some kind of baseball stuff.
Yeah, but they made lifelong friends.
Yeah, they made lifelong friends. He played in the minors too, Robbie. So it's kind of cool, And they do. They make friends forever. I know all of Duty's friends, like his best friend Adam. I know all his friends that he's friends with to this day. He played baseball with.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
to this day, those are his best friends.
Right. Well, I don't have any youth memories
wait.
of
We have
baseball.
comments.
Who we got here? Oh, Allison's here.
Hey, Allison, miss you.
Get him up on the board there.
And Dana, oh my gosh, right here.
And Dana's here too.
Oh my gosh, we miss you. This is not Dana Police.
This
Dana.
is Dana Caldera.
We met through baseball, and can I tell you how much I love her and her family, and we had so much fun with them, and her son Chase. I mean, just good people. They were all from Lutcher, and that was a good team. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, they were all so good to Duty, and I mean, just the best parents. We had such a great time.
Yeah.
And I mean, those are great. We went to Panama City with them. I don't know, Dana, is that the year that the storm came and we had to leave? I can't remember. But I don't know, one of those tournaments there was a storm or something. Who knows? When we were in Panama City. I don't know. But we had so much fun. I mean, I can remember us being on the beach and going to the pool and the kids having, and it's not even, it's just the friendships you make.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
and all the kids, I mean, look at anybody that's traveling with their kid, usually good parents.
Right.
Yeah. Like, Dana, you're the best.
Well, I can't recount all the exploits from my childhood sports days because there really weren't any. I remember, and I don't know how I got there or why I went there, but I went to the local, park, because they were having tryouts for baseball, and we were just doing fielding practice and infield practice and stuff like that, but it was with a hard ball. Okay, I don't remember my age, but I do remember getting hit immediately in the chin and being knocked back onto the ground and
Oh my
saying,
gosh.
"Maybe this is not my sport."
Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, all the great, they were all good boys. And I know Jared, I think, played for LSU. And look, she's telling Troy, hey, Troy said, shout out to the Lecture Peeps. We loved them. They were were just the best people. Oh my gosh. Stormy, oh my gosh. Yeah, but Dad, I mean, when you were younger too, it was different. They didn't have all this stuff like they have now.
It was a lot less.
It was a lot less. And then your mom, y'all had like 6 kids. So give Ma Toops a break.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't know how you take 6 kids to do. I mean, like she was having babies, and probably bringing a kid to the baseball park would have been tough back in those days.
Well, I was in the band, so I can recount my band days.
Your band days, yeah. Okay, yeah, he did play for LSU. So Jared Poche played for LSU. So we had some really good players on the team.
Oh yeah,
so,
absolutely.
We just had fun. We just had fun. So
right.
Good memories,
so,
and we're doing it with Carter now, which is I'm the grandmother now, so it's a little different. Which is sometimes I get a little sad because I wish I was doing it all over again. I tell you, like I adopted my little boy from Brazil.
Yes, right.
Rosario.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go pick him up in Brazil and then put him in baseball season.
So you can watch him do baseball.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm teasing.
Just teasing, of course.
So it's fun. It's good memories.
Yep. Well, we're going to be back again next week, but we won't be here in our studio. Where will we be, honey?
We will be at the beach.
All right.
And we're going to be, we're going to actually do this at the beach.
We're going to do a broadcast, a live stream.
Yes.
Now, that all assumes that the upload speed in the at the
condo.
9th floor of the condo is going to actually work well enough, but we'll make it happen.
Chase, he did. He played for UNO, and Corey played at Tulane.
Wow.
I forgot about
Amazing.
That team was so good.
Yeah, they were very good.
They had we were loaded with some really good players.
Yes, indeed.
Who carried the ones that weren't so loaded.
Right. So we're going to be taking it easy, but we're going to have a show as long as we can upload, and we'll start at 7 on Wednesday, and we may not stop at 30 minutes or 60. It depends on who comes off the beach and sits in the guest chair.
So anybody that knows me knows that every time I go to the beach, I make a new BFF.
Yes, some new friends will occur.
So I'm hoping maybe somebody will want to come. I don't know. But we have family that is going to be there too. So if they want to come on and share anything that they want to share, but it is going to I'm just praying that everything works right, that we can do it from the beach. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, we're gonna give it a try. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And then let's see, that's on.
And hopefully there'll be no sharks.
Right, that'll be on the 26th. So that'll wrap up June for us. And then Honey is already arranged for guests for the 3rd, the 10th, and the 17th of July.
That's
So
right.
we get back into the guest mode come July.
And Dad's doing better. You got your thing off. Like you don't have your, you don't have the big thing. Well, don't hurt yourself.
I gave us a tough day. But
He doesn't have his big it was a big thing.
the big device that keeps this thing away from my my side is now gone. I'm able to sleep without the sling at night if I want to, but sleeping is like it's not
hard.
working real well just yet. But that's okay. I sleep in shifts, an hour and a half, and then get up for 30 minutes, and then another hour and a half. But I'm okay with it because my arm's feeling better, and they're increasing the seriousness of the exercises that we do. But I'm only 4.5 weeks out right now, so it's not like I can do anything. So I'm not supposed to be like using my own arm to do stuff.
See, all my girls love my hair. I love it.
They do like your hair.
Catherine, you love my hair. So, and Catherine got me one of my guests. So I'm so excited.
Yes.
Yeah, she definitely she got me a really good guest. So, Catherine, you just have to get Robbie to commit.
Yeah. Well, we'll work on his schedule. So.
Yeah, we'll work on his schedule. Yeah, we definitely will.
Yeah. So we'll see you all next. Well, we plan on seeing you all next week, and please tune in at 7:00 from somewhere in the state of Florida.
Thank you, Aunt Patricia.
Thank you, everybody. We love you. We'll see you
Bye.
next week.